What's going on, you guys? Brandon from Vegas. As always, we're here with our partner, Bill Gaylord. I'm going to do that over. I want to do a better intro, right? Let's do it. Let's do a better intro. People who are watching live, it's okay. They can enjoy the fun. All right? The interest rates are coming down, and buyers are about to get fucked. I have brought our lender, Bill Gaylord, on here to discuss what's going on. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing awesome.
Every buyer thinks that interest rates means lower mortgages. Interest rates means lower mortgages. They don't actually know what lower interest rates signal, especially in terms of real estate. So we're going to explain today why this is not as good for buyers as they think it is, and ways that they can kind of overcompensate or try to get in on this market before it gets too deadly. So, yes. Bill, let's start with the core basics. What do the interest rates do in terms of real estate?
In terms of real estate, lower interest rates typically mean higher sale prices.
Yeah. When the interest rate goes down, that means banks can loan out more money for a cheaper cost, right? Let's just keep it plain and simple. It's obviously more complicated than that, but that's the easiest way for us to get the point across,
yes.
Right? When the interest rate goes down, banks can borrow money for cheaper, which means they can loan out that money for cheaper. And I know what you guys are thinking, Brandon, that's a great thing. I can borrow more money for a cheaper cost. We're running into a problem, Bill. What happens, Bill, when you give a bunch of people more money?
They go spend it.
Go spend it.
They're spend happy.
They're spend happy. We saw it during COVID. Everybody got their COVID relief checks. What did we do? We bought Jordans. We bought food. We
went out and had a blast.
We spent it on stupid stuff, and now we inflated the cost of goods, right? The problem when I tell people that banks will give them more money, they think that banks are just going to give them more money, right?
That's not mutually exclusive, right?
Right? That's what people hear. They hear, oh, banks are going to give out more money. That means they're just going to give it to me. No. The dude driving a Porsche, living in $1 million house, he's getting more money too.
There's a lot of people behind them that they're going to hand money out to.
The billionaire who owns the corporation that you work for, he gets more money at a cheaper cost too, right? Every person who's been sitting in a rental for the past 3 years, they get more money too. And when they get that money, they're not going to be diligent with it, right? The best explanation, my favorite analogy of all time, it's like there's a nightclub, right?
I love your nightclub analogy.
There's a nightclub.
It's my favorite.
It's my favorite. There's a nightclub, right? And there's 50 girls in the nightclub or bar, whatever. And there's 50 girls in the bar or nightclub, and there's 20 guys. And the guys are looking around like, hey, it cost us, $40 to get in tonight, but look at the results, right? Now imagine the interest rate goes down. Mm-hmm. They remove the cover charge from the nightclub, and 500 guys jump in that nightclub, right? Are things going to be the same, Bill?
No.
Now, Bill, when's the last time you were in a nightclub or a dive bar?
That's a really good question. It's been a long time. Fortunately, I'm married. I have an amazing wife.
Yeah.
So
shout out to Bill's wife. But the point, humorous as it may be, it's one of the best examples I can get.
Yeah.
Yes, the cost of entry goes down, but now the price of goods goes up, right? Mm-hmm. It's no different than supply and demand. So, Bill, the interest rates have been slowly, sneakily, I think you said.
I call it sneakily.
Sneakily been going down.
Yes.
What is the current interest rate today, March, 6th?
Yeah, March 6th, 2025. The conventional mortgage rates are hovering around 6 3/4, and maybe a little bit less. FHA, VA, they are flirting now with 6%. It's just about 6.125 roughly. Yeah. And those are from Mortgage News Daily, but it's coming down because they were above 7% back in January, 7.25 almost.
Yeah, we've seen, I think for the past, I would say 2 years, year and a half, I think above 7 for conventional rates.
Very similar. Yeah.
It's been the standard, right? Mm-hmm. I tell people 7 is the national historic average rate for interest rates. So sitting at 7 was kind of like, okay, we're back to normal, right? And we had a few dips. I know last September we dipped down and it was a quick rush to 6.4, right? But then within a week, it was like back to 7.
Right.
Right. It was like they tested it out. It was like they were like, okay, let's see how it goes. And the second that thing went from 7.25 to 6.3, whatever they saw scared them right back to 7.
Yep.
You know.
What was interesting is I had a lot of people that are on my refinance strike list, and I had a strike price, and I said, here's your strike price for a refinance. And when it got down to that level, I said, do you want to strike? Basically where they can start saving money. And they were like, no, I think it's still coming down. It's coming down. And as you know, boom, it went back up quickly.
Immediate.
So you just never know when those rates are going to go up or down.
Yeah, but that's why I like that the rates are trickling down slowly. They're not rushing it.
Very
right?
good for the market.
Very good for the market. It also signals that there's a trust and faith returning to the real estate market. But what we want to get into today is why this isn't as good for buyers as they think it is. Okay. So let's go back to the nightclub situation. Okay. Now, we're not talking about me, right? Average Joe Schmo walking into the nightclub. Let's say you're, LeBron James. You're a 6'5" millionaire, right? The kind of guy that girls are going to that nightclub looking for. Right?
You're kind of like that, though. You're 6'5" million.
I'm 6'2" and chubby, bro. We ain't nowhere like that, right? But those guys walk into the nightclub, and it doesn't matter what the cover charge is. It doesn't matter how many other people are in that club. They're fine. They're gonna They're
gonna get the people they want.
Exactly. And that's kind of how when the interest rate goes down. If I'm someone with 6 figures in my savings account, right? I've got plenty of assets. I've got plenty of credit. I'm wealthy already. I really don't care what the interest rate is. If I want the house, I'm going to get the house. So the interest rate going down is good for me, right? I've got plenty of cash. If I need to bid 20,000 over to get a house, I'm fine with that. The average person can't do that.
No.
Right? The average person can't say, oh, I'm going to bid $20,000 over the list price. But these are the things that start to happen as interest rates start coming down, right?
Correct. Because every time it comes down, it brings more buyers into the marketplace.
Yep.
And the statistic is if it comes down by 1%, it can actually bring in 5 million potential home buyers back into the marketplace because of affordability. So all of a sudden, now not all 5 million are going to jump in. We only sold like 4 million last year, total homes, but it just opens it up for everybody.
Yeah. It's like, again, back to the nightclub. It's like throwing 5,000 more dudes into the same pit, right? We're not adding more houses. We're just adding more people, right? Now, there is a bit of a trade-off. As interest rates start to go down, buyers start to hit the market. They start to bid prices up. Sellers sitting in their house go, oh shit, my $400,000 house, Sally up the street just sold for $540,000, right? And every seller, whether they're planning on moving or not, every seller has a number, right?
Yep.
You may not have been thinking about moving, but if you bought a house for, $400,000 and you're looking at prices in your neighborhood going for $175,000 more, you're like, well, shit, I'll sell now, right? So the trade-off is when the interest rate goes down, we have more buyers, which causes us to have more sellers. So there is a pro and con there. But once again, those options are coming at a dramatic increase in price, right?
Yeah. And what I'm seeing too, Brandon, is you're seeing a lot more people, as they're inching down, sneakily coming down, people are kind of discovering it a little bit. So all of a sudden you start seeing more and more people come into this thing. And it's like, whoa, where are they all coming from? And then what I see is the seller concessions going away. And I know what you do as a master negotiator. Do you think that the seller concessions will go away? I mean, you've negotiated this month $20,000 in seller paid closing costs, $15,000, $12,000. Is that going to go away?
Immediately. We're already starting to see it go away. I just had a house in Sky Canyon where I did my little trick. I can't explain what the trick is because I don't want people taking advantage of it. But we did our trick, and the seller responded with like, we're not giving you anything off the list price. We're not giving you anything off closing. Take the house or leave it. And this is February, March. We're not even in peak buying seasons like May, June, July. You're seeing new builds already start to retract their incentives, right? because their big incentive is interest rate incentives. Well, if the interest rate keeps moving down, there's no reason for them to give an incentive anymore.
It's
right?
not as big.
It's not as big. Yeah. And this typically starts, big peak buying season is when the kids get out of school, families go buy the house. That's when we do the movement, right? Mm-hmm. So our peak buying seasons are typically May, June, July, August. We're already seeing this kind of traction in February and March. I don't even want to imagine what it's going to look like during the summer. It's going to be good for me, right? But good for me typically means bad for the most buyers. A lot of them are going to get priced out of the market, Bill.
Yeah, and one of the things I see too, Brandon, is that one of the hardest pieces of buying a home for people is coming up with the money for down payment and closing costs, because there's two factors to that. You have down payment and then you have closing costs. And closing costs in general are going to run you $10,000 to $12,000 roughly on a house, whether it's a $200,000 house or it's a $900,000 house. The closing costs don't vary. But a lot of people, that's a lot of money. It's hard to save that money.
Yeah.
But what I see right now is those homes that have been kind of sitting on the market a little bit, there's going to start becoming a little bit more activity and a little bit more activity and a little bit more activity as these rates continue to go down. But with someone like you, for sure, you're going to negotiate to where they don't necessarily have to have all the closing costs to buy a home right now.
100%. But those negotiations are going to go away because we're going to lose our leverage.
You are going to lose the leverage.
This is why I love the nightclub or dive bar or whatever. I love the social scenario because it makes it people who have never bought a house easier to understand. Okay, if there's 20 guys in a bar club and there's 100 girls, right? Even if that first girl maybe rejects you or isn't open to talking to you, you have 4 other girls that you can go talk to. When you let 500 guys into that nightclub, that's it, right? You got 10 guys.
You better have game.
Yeah, you better be a good negotiator.
Yes.
You've got 10 guys trying to talk to one girl, right? Do you think she's going to negotiate with you? No, she's just going to take her best offer, right? When the interest rate goes down, same concept. Right now, if I go look at a house, man, my buyers, we've been looking at 10, 15 houses. There's so many houses on the market and so few buyers. We're just picking and choosing. Oh, do you want the girl with red hair? Do you want Latina? What do you want? Like, we're just picking and choosing what kind of house we want, right? As the interest rate goes down and more buyers hit the market, it's like, put the offer in right now. There's 9 other people showing this house today. We better move. Right. It becomes this frantic rush where the sellers have all the leverage and we lose any semblance of it, right? Pretty soon it's going to be, well, waive your inspection. Then comes, waive the appraisal. Then comes, we'll pay $30,000 over listing, right? These are the steps. You start to see it slowly and slowly. It starts to move more towards the seller's side.
Well, I used to be an appraiser.
Okay.
All right. And so when you're in a market where you have essentially higher interest rates, what ends up happening is the value of the home many times is less than what it sells for. I mean, is more than what it sells for.
Yep.
When the interest rates go down, what ends up happening is the value of the home is less than what they end up paying for it.
Yep.
And right now there's that gap. And the reason is it doesn't catch up because of the market conditions.
Yeah.
They have to make adjustments for market conditions. Is it a rising market? Is it a lower market? And so now's the time to negotiate those seller closing costs, because that'll shrink up, right? You will not be able to negotiate those.
Why would a girl in a nightclub buy you a drink or listen to you talk if 10 guys have already talked to her the same way, offered her the same stuff, right? Each guy that talks to her, well, her standards get higher and higher and higher, right? She's got options. Selling the home is the same way. Why would I offer you closing costs? Why would I do repairs for you, right? I got 9 other people trying to buy my house. If you don't like it as it is, get out, right? Sellers very quickly turn that way.
So where do you think that tipping point is in terms of interest rates and where it goes.
I am so glad you asked, Bill. I am so glad you asked, Bill. I am so
we
glad.
got the prediction going right
I am
here,
so
baby.
glad you asked, Bill.
Yes. What do we have here? Whoa.
I am so glad you asked, Bill. Because
I can't get over this. That hat looks beautiful on you.
Because talk to me, child.
Ooh, we got the crystal ball prediction right here.
Let me tell you here. The best spot is right now. People hate hearing that because if they're not ready right now, they think, oh shit, I've just missed it. People always think that the perfect time is going to smack them in the face, and it's not. The perfect time is right now. The news isn't talking about it. Social media isn't talking about it. Most of you have no clue that the price is going down, do you? You have no clue that the interest rate is going down. This is the best time before the public knows.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, what we're seeing is the smart buyer. The smart buyers have been buying houses for the past 2 months. You want to be a smart buyer. You want the interest rates coming down, but the price is not moving up. There's going to be a switch, and you don't want to be the person who gets caught in that switch. You want to be the smart buyer, not the dumb buyer. The dumb buyer is the gigantic herd that comes during the summer, buys at the peak prices, and then complains that they never get deals, right? You want to be the person buying right now, ahead of the public, fearless, ready to go for it. That's the perfect time.
So my favorite analogy is the buffalo and the cow.
Okay.
You got the herd with the cows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when a storm comes in, right? And we were kind of in a storm on the real estate side, right? You look up at the storm, the cows look at it, and they try and run away from it. So they don't do anything. They just kind of keep running away. A buffalo looks at it, gives it the middle finger, and just busts right through and goes through it. So they plow into the storm.
Yep.
So they're not in the storm for that long,
Yep.
right? The cows are in that storm forever. And so you got that herd mentality where people are like, oh, is everyone doing it? Is everyone doing it? Is everyone doing it? And sometimes you have to like change your mindset to really understand that you're going to get an opportunity now
Yep.
rather than the herd is going to get the, is all going to be there behind you when everybody figures out that the rates are coming down.
The biggest, strongest zebra always gets the best grass because he's not afraid of the lions.
Yeah.
Right? He's not afraid of the lions. Everybody else in the herd stays in their pack because that's where it's safe. The lions can't get us there. But that means they're all eating the same damn grass. It's the biggest, strongest zebra who's like, you know what? I like that grass over there. I'm just going to go eat it. I'm not afraid. And that's the same as the buffalo charging into the storm. Different animals, same concept.
Yep.
If you move with the herd, if you move with every other person, you're going to get exactly what they get.
Correct.
You're going to get panic. You're going to get fear of missing out. You're going to be subject to all the same psychological trappings that we sell to people. You want to be the people who say, I'm running into the storm.
Yes.
I don't need to wait for my cousin, my sister, people on social media. I'm going to be the first one, right? Because here's my ultimate prediction. The people who bought houses at the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, are going to hit the real estate jackpot because this summer there's a storm coming.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Bezos' real estate company buying up houses. BlackRock continuing to buy up houses. The interest rate coming down. People who have been sitting in their rentals are going to flood out. The California fires, people are coming to buy houses. The Maui fires, people are coming to buy houses. There's an optimism. The spring buying season. There's an optimism in America. People are having kids again. We are about to see a rush of buying optimism that we haven't seen since probably 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who bought at the beginning of 2025, end of 2024, are going to look like geniuses. And the people who didn't are going to look at themselves and be like, oh shit, I did it again. I did it again. I told myself I would not miss the next one, and here I've gone.
Yeah.
I've missed the next one. It's going to be a perfect example of joy and regret. And that's my prediction for 2025.
And I love that. And I'm going to say that when rates really get down to that 6.5 level, and we're at like 6 3/4 ish,
Yeah.
you're going to really start seeing more and more people because when it dropped down last September to the around 6%, all of a sudden, guess what happened? The applications went up, everything went up, and it was an indication, and it was gone in an instant, right? And that's going to happen again. And I think I like the fact, honestly, Brandon, that it's going down slowly because the herd will move slower for people. And there still may be some opportunities for those that are going at it right now and being the buffalo and being the zebra. And I think that we're going to see some big things happen here this coming year.
Yeah. I want to do something specifically for Vegas, right? Because that's a huge part of our audience, and I want them to understand this, okay? If you're in Vegas right now, the Athletics are coming, which means millionaires, which means board of directors, millionaires, which means their staff, their trainers, the service workers, the employees. These are all people who are going to be moving here looking for jobs with money. Sony and Warner Brothers Studios are moving here. That means camera directors. That means mic guys. That means sound directors. That means film. It's not just movie stars. It's the entire production. These people are going to be looking for houses, right?
Yep.
You have gigantic organizations moving here, bringing hundreds, if not thousands of people. And they're going to be looking for houses, and they're going to be looking for places. If you think you have the time that you do, you don't. You just don't. The city as you know it is changing. And if you don't keep up with it, if you don't make it an effort and make it your number one priority to buy a house now, a lot of you are going to be how Hawaiians are, where they're priced out of their own market, where multiple families have to live under the same roof because they just can't afford their home anymore. That's what's going to happen in Vegas. And I don't want to see that happen.
No, and I think having someone like you on their side, negotiating, basically you can get a below market rate through a 2-1 buy down through a negotiation. So they have a little bit of time to get to where they want to be.
Yeah.
And at the same time, give the market time for interest rates to drop. So if someone's buying today, their mortgage payment will be pretty much no higher than it is today.
Yeah.
Now, do you think your income's going to go up? Most people will say yes. So they'll be able to cover that. Will their mortgage payment go down? More than likely, it will go down at some point in time through a refinance. So they're locking in the rate, or they're locking in the mortgage payment right now, and that's not going to change.
It won't. And that's the best way for them to take advantage of these rates. This is why you guys need to contact Bill. Bill, how many people have I sent to you for the past 2 months, right? Since 2025 hit.
It's been crazy.
How many people have I sent your way? Because people are finally realizing now you have to attack the interest rate. You have to get ahead of it. You can't wait for the rates to drop and go, oh, now I'm going to get ready. No. You need to get ready before. That way, when it happens, you can attack it. 2-1 buy downs, getting your first 2 years below the current level, negotiating for closing costs to pay down the interest rate. There's a bunch of things you can do to handle this, but you must move now.
You have to move now.
You must move now. This is why I tell you guys, contacting Bill is free. It doesn't matter what city or state you're in. Contacting Bill is free. Find out where your credit is. Find out where your income is. Find out where your assets are. Find out what you qualify for now. Don't wait for the market to go crazy and then try to get ready. That's a waste of time. So Bill, if someone's ready, if they're saying, okay, I'm tired of wasting time, I want to attack this market, I want to be ahead of things, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Best way is go to my website, billgaylord.com, billgaylord.com. Schedule a free consultation. It's free 99, as you would call it. Free 99. And let's jump on a Zoom, find out where you stand today, because if you don't know where you stand today, you're not going to be able to get there tomorrow.
100%.
And we'll build a game plan, and it could be 2 months, 8 months, a year, whatever it is. Know where you are today.
Know where you are. You got to. My mom had a phrase. She said, "You got to stay ready to get ready." Right? You got to stay ready. And what we're trying to teach people is how to stay ready, how to stay on top of this, so that if the interest rates do continue into the 5s, you're ahead of the game. You're already got your offer in. You're already negotiating before we even get there.
And I want to say, Brandon, the people that I speak with that you send over, they are really appreciative of you getting them off their butt to go do this stuff because they're nervous doing this. They're exposing themselves. They're like embarrassed. Oh, my credit's not good. I don't have enough money. I don't make enough money. But when they come over, they're really appreciative of going through where they stand today, and it's because of you.
Well, I'm here to help. You know, it can seem scary, but they have to understand that we're their super team, right? I coach them through it, let them know that I've been in the same situation, and you help them through the finances and let them know that we've seen people with the same credit scores as you get a home.
I've seen it all.
Of course. Guys, I'm Brandon from Vegas. As always, you can find me on TikTok. You can find me here on YouTube, which is where I hope you guys are watching. I hope you guys are subscribing. Make sure you guys leave us a comment below if you have any questions on the interest rate. If you guys need to know where to get started, how to get started, leave us a comment below. We're always perusing. We're always looking to help and respond to you guys. Bill?
Yes.
This was a good episode. This is an informative episode, man. So as always, come and be my neighbor. Peace, 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 peace.
Please for thumbnail.